Welcome back to Founders in the Field, the show where we go behind the scenes with agency leaders, consultants, and creative founders to show you how they're building, scaling, and staying sane in the trenches. I'm your host, Stefan Bradley, and today's guest is Park Howell, who is the founder and president of the Business of Story. How are you doing, Park?
Stefan, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. Let's dive straight in. For people who don't know your story, take us right back to the start of your journey and what made you start your own business, and give us an overview of what your role looks like today, please.
You betcha. Well, I've been in the advertising, branding, marketing world for over 40 years, and I started my first company, Park Company, which was an ad agency in Phoenix, Arizona in 1995. I ran that for 20 years. Had to make that transition from traditional advertising into digital marketing and so forth. And I found I didn't like the advertising world nearly as much. I think creativity really got stunted with the digital realm that came along. So I went looking for an answer, and story at the time in the early 2000s started popping up on a lot of people's radar, even though I thought, well, of course we all think, plan, organize, and act, and communicate in story, but it turned out that was not so. So I took it upon myself to start teaching my customers and clients how to use story and story frameworks to be way more influential, persuasive, and actually even develop even greater respect among their audiences because of how well they communicate. So then fast forward to 2016, I wound down my ad agency, I started the Business of Story, and now all I do is consult, teach, coach, and speak on the power of story internationally in leadership, sales, brand development, marketing, and that has all led to today in the development of our Story Cycle Genie, a narrative native platform that's really basically a wealth building engine because it enables you to do brand story creation and activation in literally minutes, not months, in the old-fashioned way of doing it.
No, that sounds great. But do you know also, people overlook that part of storytelling as well. It's actually so crucial to building such a great brand as well. It's so crucial to it that people sometimes overlook it by looking at all the other parts of it. And with you, you've white labeled. Is it sort of like a white label platform where they can also basically use your knowledge in that platform to enable that for themselves? Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of ad agencies are using it now, and marketing consultants, and they will work with their clients, even have their clients come in and work in it. It is AI powered, but it's all built off of our Story Cycle System IP, which I've used for the past 20 years to grow brands by as much as 600%. So it enables them to turn those brand development programs, the minutia of the research and the discovery and the long conversations with the clients and the months of trying to get your arms wrapped around the brand story. Well, all you do is you copy and paste your URL of your website into the Genie, and maybe you want to feed it a little bit of your marketing material here and there, and within 5 minutes it will create a marketing strategy for you based off of what you're already doing, but it will communicate it back to you through our 10-step story cycle system. And then once you get that and you iterate in it, you can tweak, you can change, you can add, subtract, whatever. So you're really collaborating with it. After that, then it'll help you with all of your marketing strategy, social strategy, and all of your content will be created because you've built this brand brain inside the Genie. And that's why I call it a wealth creation engine, because it saves you so much time and so much money that you can invest in other things, plus levels you up as a storyteller.
Definitely. And like you said, then implementing AI, but actually using your own process in the AI to be able to produce the results that you would give normally. And I feel like that is such a key thing that some people miss with AI, that you can, that's how you can take from being all the knowledge being in your brain to get it into the AI so that it can maneuver to thousands of people at once if necessary. Yeah. As opposed to, it's like multiplying yourself almost.
Well, it's like your best buddy who's a know-it-all, right? And they're always correcting you. Generative AI is that best buddy appearing as your best buddy who thinks it knows everything, and it hallucinates and it makes stuff up, as you know, and it doesn't get it right a lot of the time. Well, the Genie sits on our Brightsea platform, which does use AI APIs to bring in the intelligence of AI, but it's all locked down on that platform. So AI can't access your intel. Your customers and their prying eyes can't access it. It's all locked down. But the difference is, with the AI and the genius, you are collaborating with it. You are feeding it the information you want it to. It'll go out and do research for you and competitor research and do all of that, bring it back in, but then you still vet it, and it gets really super smart and intelligent about your brand story, and then how you communicate that to the world.
Yeah, no, it's on a much bigger level than what I did something for my fiance that was similar, where I built the agent based on all of her business, sort of her brand guidelines that she works with, like different brands that she works with. So you create the knowledge base for it and then use the API to basically push that knowledge. And I feel like that's where you can not eliminate, but you can reduce drastically the amount of hallucinations that it's getting, because it's just going to that knowledge base and then feeding through, using that as a second brain almost. So yeah, no, kudos to you for doing that, and not just, a lot of people think AI is there and, it's not to be modeled on us. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's really clever, but when you have specific things that you're really good at, for example, and you've run successful businesses, or you've done that, and you have a specific knowledge base, if you can input that into the AI and then use an API to push that, it exponentially grows.
Yeah, it really does, and it totally plays off of your own business acumen, your own customer insights. It doesn't negate or neglect what you have already put into, in your time and energy in your business. It just multiplies it, amplifies it. You literally collaborate with it. I was just doing a competitive analysis thing yesterday between the Story Cycle Genie and some of the other platforms out there that do similar stuff to us. And I tell it, I said, you are now my marketing strategist, positioning strategist. I need you to be brutally honest with me. How do we compete in these areas? What are we missing? What shouldn't we be doing? And what do you think we should do next? And it gave it to me. And then I go, okay, that's pretty good. Then I started saying, well, what about this? What about that? And I spent 2 hours collaborating with it, and I gave it some additional agency research or industry research about agencies that I had found, and it just got smarter and smarter to the point of like, okay, I've got a position now I really like for a particular target audience. Now, that would have taken me weeks to do on my own, and I did it about 2.5, 3 hours watching football yesterday.
And that's the great thing about it, isn't it? Is the time, the time saving and the effort saving to an extent, obviously, as well. Do you know what I mean? Because time and effort go hand in hand. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you can definitely get lost down that rabbit hole as well. Like a couple hours goes quick, doesn't it?
It does, because it's fun to interact with, and it's fun to see what it comes back, and then you can kind of call it on its own BS too. You go, I don't know where you came up with that. That's sort of bullshit. I want you to rethink that, and if you really believe in what you told me, then defend yourself. If you don't, then I want to see another way of doing it. And it's just great, because it's like just talking to a person. And the beautiful thing about the Genie is you don't have to know any prompt engineering. We spent 2 years building it. All the prompt engineering's in the back. All you do is talk to it like you're talking to me or another consultant or another friend. You just look at the Genie that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that building an AI that way, where you already have the prompts, like if they say this, they mean this, works so much better, because a lot, I might find it easy, but the next person might not find writing prompts that easy. So if you can build it through that, they can just speak their natural language to it, and then it's gonna think, okay, they're saying this, so it means this long prompt, and then it can spit it out. It makes it more accessible for a lot of people that may not be so tech savvy also.
Yeah. And you can build camaraderie with your team around it, because they are all in using the exact same tool. They don't have a whole bunch of cobbled together generative AI tools that some use it one way, some use it the other way. You hope they talk to each other. Ours has 36 agents built into it in what we call the cognitive mesh architecture. So it's just imagine you have 28 experts by your side, 24/7 that you don't have to pay anything other than a monthly subscription for. And depending on what you're trying to do, you just tap any one of those agents to do it for you. And they will also lean into other, if you're writing a blog post, for instance. So you go to the blog post Genie, and then you say, I want this to be a thought leadership post. So it goes to the thought leadership Genie and says, all right, pal, come on, you're helping me write this. Oh, and I want you to optimize this post for SEO, GEO, and AEO. And then you go, okay, hey, optimization Genie, come on in here. The three of us are going to write this for Park. Oh, and I want it in Park's voice. Okay, voice author profile Genie, come on in because we need to write this like Park sounds. And then boom, the way it goes. And it does it all seamlessly in the background. You don't have to jump from agent to agent to do it. You just go to the blog post Genie, tell it what you want, and it automatically accesses whatever Genie it needs in our ecosystem of experts.
Yeah, no, building a cohesive team of agents like that is so much more valuable because they don't get overwhelmed. They have specific jobs that they're really, really good at. Do you know what I mean? It's like when something goes wrong with your house, you don't ring one person to fix your plumbing, your electrics, and this, do you? You ring the experts to come in. So it's definitely. So Park, what are the biggest trends that you're seeing inside the market today?
My market in particular, or what market do you have in mind?
Your market, the market you're working in.
I was asked a question the other day on a podcast that said, how is storytelling evolving? And I said, storytelling is not evolving. It's been the exact same as always been since the beginning of time, using the same frameworks. What is evolving is the storyteller, just pretty much as we've been talking about here with AI and so forth. Now, I see a lot of people dragging their feet in the agency world, which I think is a huge mistake. I equate it to a dinosaur staring in the headlights of a car racing at it, and that license plate says AI on it. So you've got to embrace it. You got to figure out what your clients want and how you can be in service to them using it. So I think, of course, like in any industry, that number one trend happening is all around AI. From AI fatigue to AI reluctance to brilliance of people adopting it and what they're doing with it. And I think we're still going through it. It's probably going to take another couple years, sort of this fog of war. Like, what is it? How am I going to use it? How is it going to change? So I just think we've never seen, and at least I haven't in my 40 years in the market, anything as disruptive and interesting as AI is. And I think the way you surf that wave is through curiosity. Get super curious on how you can use it in your own world.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I think that's like that same thing is along a lot of different industries, because I think people think, oh, AI, is that ChatGPT thing? And they don't quite understand how far it can go and help them with different things. Not like just ChatGPT. I mean AI as a whole.
In general,
Yeah, in general, they feel like a lot of people are saying, like, oh yeah, I understand AI, I understand the ChatGPT or Claude and things like that. But the rabbit hole, as we said earlier, is so wide. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with what you've built with the Genie, like that people, to some people or to a lot of people, that would blow their mind how AI can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? They might think, no, I understand it. I speak to a lot of people that say, like, oh no, I have an AI person, I have this, and I ask them some questions around what they're doing with it, and then it's very apparent then that actually you could be doing so much more with it. So I feel like it's definitely a disruptor, and it's definitely doing that across multiple markets. And the ones who adopt it early will be, obviously the early adopters will succeed, I think, exponentially quicker than anybody that doesn't, just like what you said there. I was obviously I was quite, too young for the, to be in business when like the .com era hit and things like that. But from when I speak to people, back then it was similar sort of mindsets. They didn't realize how much having a website would be, to their business, how much value it would bring to their business. Same with social media. So I feel like humans, we love to like repeat history a little bit, and it's like and it's kind of the same with this.
It's happening so quickly, The adoption of e-commerce and social media and that was a little bit slower. I think people just experiencing that back in the day, in the early 2000s, recognized this for like, oh my God, this is a tsunami that we need to get in right now. Those smart ones are, I think. But the other thing, too, is where do you start? What do you do? And I really see it as an extension of what you're already doing really well. So I didn't go out and invent a brand new business to use AI. I just took what I was already doing, found a way to expedite it, like unbelievably so, literally from months to minutes, using all of our AI or our IP, intellectual property, and just let AI be that force multiplier. Bring it in as the engine to build this wealth engine we've developed now for agencies and marketing consultants.
Key word you said there was force multiplier. That's what it is, an accelerator, a force multiplier. Do you know what I mean? If you're already doing something good, it's like driving a Volvo and then driving a Lamborghini. Do you know what I mean? Which is, it's that type of analogy I find that, that works the best in my head when I think about it and try and explain it to people.
Yeah. When I was looking at the competitive research, it was telling me that StoryBrand, which is the very predominant story branding platform out there, and they've got their own AI. They said they're kind of the Hyundai of branding. They're inexpensive. They're easily accessible, and they'll do a lot of nice little things for you. The Story Cycle Genie is like the Ferrari. It's going to take you way farther, way faster, but a lot of people aren't really quite ready to drive the Ferrari. So I say that's cool, totally great. StoryBrand for all you users out there. You've got your message down. StoryBrand help you do that. Great. Now what's next? Bring it over to the Story Cycle Genie, feed it in there, and watch this force multiplying effect on the good things you've already done with StoryBrand. We are going to take you. It's like jumping into the cockpit of an F-16 fighter. We'll rocket you in your story.
Yeah, definitely. So, Park, what does your role look like, sort of day to day, in your two businesses?
Well, it's really one primary business. So the business of story is my main business. And it's still actually playing off of my old ad agency at Park Howell. I still have that corporation, but I do business as. So I still do a lot of speaking, coaching, and training. I do a lot of virtual trainings for brands all around the world, teaching them on story frameworks for their leadership, for their internal communications, for sales, for marketing, for branding, that sort of thing. So that takes up a lot of my time doing that. But then on the side, myself and my two other partners in the Story Cycle Genie that help build it all out, we are day in and day out online promoting it, working with people, taking them through tours and that kind of thing. So I spend a lot of time wearing the one business of story hat, but one of them is in-person or virtual training, and the other hat underneath that hat is the Story Cycle Genie. So a lot of marketing, a lot of doing lots of different things, and I host my own podcast. So I've been doing that for almost 10 years, 540 episodes, and every Monday there's a new show, and so I've got to record those and get them produced, and wearing lots of different hats.
Yeah, no, definitely. It sounds like you're hitting all different aspects of the storytelling business, as opposed to, you're going out there yourself, speaking at conferences and to different brands, things like that, but then you've also created sort of an automated thing that can work in the background 24/7 if they would like to do it themselves almost. So yeah,
that's exactly right.
What's your podcast called, just so we can promote it on here as well?
Yeah, well, it's called The Business of Story. I started it way back in 2015, July of 2015. And I consult, or I bring in guests. I call them story artists, people that are using story in all different ways, and they come to me from all around the world. Today, as a matter of fact, I interviewed a really fascinating guy by the name of Shagun Ghanessan, that's it. And he is in Dubai, and he's an auditor. A credited internal auditor who wrote one of the best books on storytelling I've ever read, called The Storyteller's Ledger. And he came on and we just talked about how to use storytelling and communicating complex ideas and data and numbers and really find the story behind those data, that data and numbers. And so I get a lot of really interesting people that talk about story. And the funniest thing is, after I did 50 episodes back in year one, people were like, well, are you done now? I mean, what else could you say about story? And I thought maybe they're right. And then I just keep finding new and interesting people using stories in all different kinds of applications that now it's taken me to 543 episodes.
Yeah, wow. at some feet, especially to start it back then when it probably wasn't as popular as it is now today, podcasting. So you were definitely an early adopter there.
Yeah, I typically am, from my iPad to AI to my podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely it's a good trait to have, 100%. So Park, what is working well and where do you still feel slight friction in the business of story?
Well, the podcast is working really well. Get a lot of great content there. I suppose the biggest friction that anybody can experience, and I certainly experienced, is that idea about content creation and publishing. Getting it out there, getting it in front of people, then being there to answer, respond to their comments and that kind of thing. And it gets exhausting, It gets demoralizing sometimes when you put something out there and it just doesn't go anywhere. It gets confusing when you put what you think is kind of a piece of crap out there and it just takes off. You're like, well, why did that work? So that's probably, the friction is, how do you really get your stuff to land right the first time every time? And we always use frameworks, story frameworks, to do that, but it doesn't always work. But I just know I'm a lot more effective when I do it that way than when I don't.
Mm-hmm. So you still feel slight friction sort of way. Is that just social media, YouTube? Is that all of it?
Yeah, I'm primarily on LinkedIn. I feed all my podcasts and everything through YouTube. I don't use Facebook much anymore. The whole Zuckerberg guy creeps me out too much. I'm not on X that much because the whole Elon guy creeps me out a little bit there too. So I try to get really super focused, and that's primarily on, I will post on those other platforms, but it's really primarily on LinkedIn and YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like LinkedIn is really the only professional social media where it's business pretty much 90% of the time on there. Whereas the other ones can get a bit crazy, can't they? They can go a bit wayward, I would say, with different things. So yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, to say the least.
And it is time consuming. Do you know what I mean? Like if something does go like viral or does go off, do you know what I mean? And brain consuming, like so much. You've only got so much. Humans have only got so much space up here to, to reply to every comment and to be there exactly when something comes, like when people like it and things like that. So yeah, it's a common thing, definitely.
Yeah.
Park, where do you want to be in the next 12 to 18 months in terms of business?
Where do I want to be? Well, I'd like to get us over 100 users by the first of the year. We're at about 50. We just launched the Genie. I launched it in July. I had been working with a lot of beta testers and companies about 8 months prior to that July launch. So our goal was to get to 100 users by the end of the year, and we're getting there. We're gaining on it. And then by this time next year, the beginning of 2027, having it so successful, we may sell it. Someone may well show up and say, wow, this is amazing what you've built. Here you go. Write the check. And I'll say, thank you very much, and ride off into retirement.
Definitely. Sounds like a good plan. So how do you, so you got 50, you want to get to 100, how do you sort of acquire them sort of clients?
Well, we have been going through my main network, so I've been doing a lot of brand building for the business of Story and myself on social over the past 15 years. A lot of them have been coming through either our networks or referrals at this point. And we're doing it that way because we are still tweaking the Genie depending on what users want and watching their user experience on it and so forth. We'll do a bigger launch then come early in 2026, and that'll probably have some more paid media in it, earned media, and that kind of thing.
No, definitely. It's a good plan. So, Park, if you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing in your business, what would it be and why?
God, if I didn't ever have to do any more promotion, that'd be my magic wand. People are just showing up, but that doesn't work. So, that's the thing. I'm using AI to help make my whole podcast production way more efficient, because as you know, producing one takes a lot of time, from finding guests to interviewing to transcriptions and then to all the promotion on that. So I'm trying to wave my magic wand on that right now of using AI, some Genie and some outside the Genie, in a more operational focused way to make that whole process, all those moving parts, a heck of a lot more simple.
No, definitely sounds like you're on the right path to how you would get there, definitely. So thanks for coming on, Park. I really enjoyed the conversation. Where can my viewers and listeners find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to use the Genie, for example?
Yeah. Well, if they want to use the Genie and just you can actually test the strength of your brand story for free. Just go to storycyclegenie.ai, and you're going to see a little white button there that says free assessment. Punch that. Give us your name, your email address, and then you just copy and paste your logo in there, your URL in there for your website, and the Genie in under 60 seconds will go through. It'll give you a grade from A+ to F- on how well you're telling your story, and it's going to give you a 14-point storytelling assessment with all the reasoning behind what it found, showing you, basically validating what you're already doing well, revealing gaps that you could quickly fix to make your story even stronger, and even inspiring you with new ways to think about your brand story. So I would send people there to storycyclegenie.ai. And if you want to connect with me, just go over to LinkedIn. Park Howell. I'm the only one there, I think, by the name of P-A-R-K. Last name Howell, H-O-W-E-L-L. Let me know that you heard about me or you listened to our interview with Stefan right here, and I'd be happy to connect with you there and go from there.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on, and for our guests that have were listening or just hearing this last bit in on a soundbite. This was a great interview with somebody that's been through in the advertising and the storytelling business for 30 years plus and has navigated both digital and now AI adoptions. So it's definitely one to listen out for. And please like, comment and subscribe if you liked, and send it to a friend also as well. But thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day, Park.
Thank you, Stefan.